This question comes from Max, who asks, what if the sun doubled in size? At first glance, it might seem like a minor change, just a bigger ball of fire in the sky. But doubling the sun's size would have dramatic consequences for the entire solar system.
First, let's be clear. By doubling in size, we mean the sun's diameter becomes twice as large. The sun's current diameter is about 1.4 million kilometers. So doubling it would make it 2.8 million kilometers across. That's roughly 109 times the diameter of Earth. Now imagine 218 Earths lined up across the sun.
One immediate effect would be the change in gravity. The sun's mass would likely increase as well, probably not exactly double, but significantly.
With more mass comes a stronger gravitational pull. Planets would feel this instantly. Earth, for example, would move into a tighter orbit, speeding up as it falls deeper into the sun's gravity well.
But even before orbital changes, there's another problem: heat. The sun's surface temperature is about 5,500 degrees Celsius. If the sun doubled in size while maintaining the same surface temperature, its luminosity, the total energy it emits, would increase by a factor of 4. This is because luminosity depends on the surface area, which grows with the square of the radius. In practical terms, Earth would receive 4 times more solar energy than it does now. Temperatures would soar. Ice caps would melt almost instantly.
Oceans would start to boil over the course of days to months, depending on how quickly the atmosphere adjusts. Life on Earth would face a near immediate extinction-level event, unless we somehow sheltered underground or deep underwater. But the chaos doesn't stop there. A larger sun would also affect the orbits of other planets. Mercury and Venus might be swallowed entirely if their orbits fall inside the sun's new radius.
Mars could survive, but it would be significantly hotter. Outer planets like Jupiter and Saturn would still orbit safely, but their moons might experience changes in tidal forces, triggering volcanic activity, or shifting ice sheets.
Interestingly, doubling the sun's size changes the habitable zone, the region where liquid water can exist. It would move much farther out, possibly beyond Jupiter.
So any hope for life in the inner solar system would vanish. If humans or future colonies existed on Mars or the moons of Jupiter, they would face a sudden rush of heat and radiation as their once cold worlds became hot.
Let's talk about the sun itself. A bigger sun would burn fuel faster. Stars maintain balance by fusing hydrogen into helium, counteracting gravity with pressure from nuclear reactions. Doubling the sun's size without changing mass drastically would upset this balance. The sun might expand further into a red giant phase within thousands to millions of years, a blink of an eye in stellar terms. Or it could even destabilize, shedding mass through violent solar winds. Solar storms would intensify. Coronal mass ejections could become enormous, blasting the solar system with charged particles. Earth's magnetic field would be insufficient to shield us from this torrent, if we weren't already incinerated by heat.
The night sky would change dramatically too. With a sun twice as large, even from a distance, it would appear more than twice as wide in the sky. Daylight would be overwhelming, a blinding, constant glare that makes stargazing impossible. Even at night, the residual heat from the sun's expanded size could warm the atmosphere enough to eliminate the concept of true night. Now think about the long-term effects. If humans somehow survived, Earth's orbit would gradually shrink due to gravitational interactions. We might need enormous orbital engineering projects, like firing rockets from the surface to push the planet outward just to maintain a habitable distance. Otherwise, Earth would spiral closer, eventually being engulfed by the sun itself.
And what about the moon? It would face increased tidal forces. Oceans would bulge more dramatically, creating extreme tides and flooding coastal regions instantly.
The Moon's orbit might destabilize over time, affecting its phases and potentially causing it to crash into Earth or be ejected into space. Even the solar system's asteroid belt wouldn't be safe. A bigger sun with stronger gravity could fling asteroids inward, bombarding planets and moons with extra debris. Meteor showers would become catastrophic, not just spectacular. In short, doubling the sun's size would be catastrophic for Earth. Heat, gravity, tidal forces, and radiation would combine to make our planet almost instantly uninhabitable.
Other planets would experience dramatic changes, and the solar system itself would settle into a new, hotter, and more chaotic equilibrium.
But from a cosmic perspective, it's also fascinating. We would see stellar evolution in action, a living example of how stars shape their planets, drive ecosystems, and ultimately determine which worlds survive. So what if the sun doubled in size? Earth would boil, orbit dangerously close, and life as we know it would vanish almost immediately. The night sky would glow brighter than we can imagine, and the solar system would enter a new era, one dominated by extreme heat, gravitational chaos, and the unstoppable force of an oversized star. It's a reminder of how delicate our home is, and how much we owe our existence to the exact size, mass, and luminosity of the sun as it is today.